Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. Oh, we can do better than that. Good afternoon. It's a celebration, 45 years. Give it up for N Street Village. Woo! And let's give Kimberly a big round of applause. Thank you for all that she does in our administration and for our city. Well, I can't tell you how pleased I am to be with all of you today, again, for celebrating year after year what great things the N Street Village has done and continues to do for our city. And it's such a delight to be here with both Stuart and Schroeder. Give them both a big round of applause. Stuart Allen, Schroeder Stribling over here. And all the great leadership that they provide. And how about Cheryl and Sharon? Woo! Who have been around as long as I've been around, and that's a long time to be around, isn't it? I've been around a long time. So I started on the council a long time ago. It's actually 27 years ago, 1991, and I'm now the longest serving council member in the history of the DC Council, believe it or not. Yeah, that's great. And what a movie it has been since 1991, taking us to where we are today. District of Columbia was a struggling city back in 1991, and our finances were in tough shape. People were leaving our city. Our neighborhoods had a lot of violence, etc. And there were people in need. And one of the organizations that I became familiar with when I first came on the council was indeed the N Street Village. And over in 14th Street in the corridor there, it was one of the few places for women, especially, who could find a place when they were homeless or in need of services. And John Steinbrück was here at the time, and his wife Irma, and we worked closely together to try and make the N Street Village work for everybody. And it took a lot of people in this room. So I want to ask you to give yourselves a round of applause, because your efforts have led to the N Street Village being really one of the premier organizations of its type, not only in Washington, D.C. and the region, but in the nation. And we have a lot to be proud of having accomplished that. And there have been a lot of changes over the years. The District of Columbia today is, without a doubt, the most dynamic city in America, and we have a lot to be thankful for in bringing our city back from a struggling city. But at the same time, there are so many people in our city that feel a little bit left behind, who are not benefiting by the prosperity that the city has. And part of the mission of N Street Village and the city in general, the mayor and others, the council, is to make sure that everyone benefits from our prosperity. And so that's some of what we're trying to accomplish. And I want to thank everybody at the luncheon today, for those who are supporting financially and otherwise, to make the N Street Village as successful as it has been. So I'm pleased to be here today, and I'm a politician, so I always bring something with me, right? So I have a ceremonial resolution that was passed unanimously by the Council of the District of Columbia. And that deserves something if you've ever watched us on TV. Unanimous. That means everybody voted for it. So I'm going to read a little bit of what it has to say. It's to recognize and honor the N Street Village for its many contributions to the citizens and the city of Washington, D.C., and to congratulate it as it celebrates 45 years of service. Whereas N Street Village was founded in 1972, and whereas N Street Village is a community of empowerment and recovery for homeless and low-income women in Washington, D.C., with comprehensive services addressing both emergency and long-term needs. And whereas N Street Village helps women achieve personal stability and make gains in their housing, income, employment, mental health, physical health, and addictive recovery. And whereas over the last 45 years, N Street Village has grown to become the largest provider specializing in supportive services and housing for homeless and low-income women in the District of Columbia. And whereas N Street Village is the only provider of women's wraparound and emergency services open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Thank you for that. And whereas last year, N Street Village served nearly 2,000 women and provided housing for triple the number of women that it was annually serving just a decade ago. And remember last year when we dedicated the street, the N Street Village Street, right there at the facility. So it was a great day in the District of Columbia. Concludes as follows: resolved by the Council of the District of Columbia that I, Jack Evans, by the power invested in me, do hereby declare today, June 13th, 2018, 18 as N Street Village Day in the District of Columbia. Congratulations.